another Birmingham one. Comic Buyer. What do you think the chances of Birmingham City doing back-to-back promotions like Ipswich did? The chances are high because I believe in I believe in Father Christmas. Completely distracted me. Who sung that? I can't even remember. Great Christmas song, that. Oh, it's going to bug me now. Comments, please. I believe in the power of momentum, which Birmingham have. They just scored 111 points. I also believe that the parachute teams have a huge advantage, but they don't in the first 6 weeks in terms of churn of squad and pattern of play. And two of the parachute teams are going to have new managers. So that pattern of play will be way behind Birmingham's. I believe in the power of money, and Birmingham have loads of it, and they seem to have some very, very smart people, managing things and, looking at the PSR side of it, and they seem to be across all of that. And we literally just saw it, didn't we? I must admit, and it happened to my team. I know Norwich did it and Southampton did it, but they did it before the parachute era made it so difficult that it has to be absolute lightning in a bottle. And then Ipswich did it. And it's like, oh, so the dream is real. That it's not just who's got the most money. And by the way, Birmingham, we've got plenty of that. But if you get on a run, if you establish a pattern of play that scores you 111 points, remember, Ipswich didn't score 111 points, but they did win like 8, 9, 10 on the trot and finish like an absolute Lamborghini and then start like an absolute Lamborghini train. Lamborghinis probably break down quite a lot, don't they? Because they're so technical. I don't know. Not doing very well with my analogies here on this, am I? But Ipswich proved the point that maybe still in the Championship, even with the parachute payments, and look, Leicester did it in the Premier League, didn't they? You can do it just on a damn good coach and a damn good football team. Luck plays a part. Maybe I was a bit prickly about people calling Ipswich lucky at the time. Maybe I took offence at that. But if luck is on your side and you don't get bad injuries and, things start to roll for you and then the luck grows the confidence and the confidence grows the luck, which grows the results, which grows the confidence, which grows the luck, and we're Charlie Munger compounding gains once more. Birmingham could do it. Would I be surprised if I was sat here and Birmingham have had the most incredible double promotion season? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. They've got everything set up to be able to do it. Of course it's going to be hard. Of course. And people are asking me now, will it be a failure if Birmingham don't get promoted? Of course not. Just come out of League One and not done anything tangible in the Championship for absolutely years. But they're back and they've got a hell of a fair wind behind them. And they've got a hell of a chance. And the other thing people mention to me is, can you even up Birmingham and Leicester now? Leicester have got the parachute money, but is there a sanction? Sheffield United have changed managers. Ipswich, a big churn. Liam Delap out. They need to build a new central midfield. Can Kieran McKenna go again? Will Still. First big job here in English football. Can Birmingham get a run on them? Can Birmingham be there with 44 points from the first 20 games and give themselves that run? And one more thing I'll mention about Birmingham, which David Prutton mentioned. It's a hell of a noisy stadium. And we talk about intangibles. Can you leverage your home form? Can you make it impossible for people to show up at St Andrews and win a game? If they do all of those things, then they'll get promoted. They will. Because that's the perfect storm I've just described. They'll win the league if all of those things happen. So, yeah, it could happen. It could happen. Another Birmingham question. If Birmingham don't get promotion or at least playoffs, do you think they will follow the culture and change the manager or give him another season? I know what I think they should do. And unless their perfect manager, who could manage them in the Premier League, becomes available, I think they should keep him. And I think they should play the long game. I think there's more to gain by keeping somebody and making a potential change in the Premier League than there is by changing beforehand unless they've got their idea of we want this guy to manage us in the Premier League and they feel like he becomes available or they can get him while they're still in the Championship. I think if you score 111 points in a season, albeit with what we imagine is going to be a gigantic spend, that you buy yourself a season of credit. And I mean, look, what would be my tipping point? If Birmingham are 16th next season, then I think Chris Davies has probably failed. But even if they were 10th and they were trending in the right direction and looking like things were moving forward and they were PSR compliant and they were building stars and building talent and establishing themselves ready for a tilt, look, Knighthead are going to expect it quickly, but I don't think you can expect it in season one, and I don't think the manager should be removed as a binary result of not being promoted. I mean, for God's sake, what happens if they get to the playoff semi-finals and lose to a parachute team? That's not a failure, is it? That's par, or probably better than par. So, no, I don't think it's a binary on promotion. I think it depends exactly what he does and how they don't get promoted and who's the guy they think can manage them in the Premier League and can they get him there and then? Good question. Phil Neumann has come in to Birmingham. All the talk has been about further up the pitch with the signings of Gray, Furuhashi and Tommy Doyle. But how do you feel about our defence with Neumann and Clara? Should be really, really good. I think the reason people talk about the players at the top of the pitch for Birmingham, and this will always kind of be the case, is that they're the ones where you're relying on individual quality, isn't it? Whereas with someone like Chris Davies managing, the defence, it's not down to head it, kick it, John Terry, heroic Terry Butcher style defending or whatever. It's down to controlling where the game is played on the pitch, where you can squeeze, and controlling possession of the ball. So Birmingham's brilliant defensive record last year was very different to Wrexham's brilliant defensive record because Wrexham gave up the ball and did head it, kick it brilliantly, whereas Birmingham just controlled games. I do think they'll still be able to do that up in the Championship, Birmingham. I think the pattern of play is going to be significantly ahead of many others. We're talking 10 new managers starting out in round one at the start of August. I've said that to a lot of Birmingham fans. Make hay while the sun is shining at the start of the season. But this will always be the case. I think that's the reason why people are more interested. I mean, look, Damari Gray's a superb story as well, isn't it? With with the return to the club. Furuhashi, I mean, it's just these players come in, who are Asian players. It's just so brilliant and exotic, and the press over there are so interested that just opens up a whole new fun narrative. And Tommy Doyle, everyone knows they've been very, very high on. That's a player with a real good track record in Premier League and at the top of the Championship on that loan with Sheffield United. So, yeah, I think that would be the reason why the discussion is that way around. Liam, I think, has got a question about Birmingham as well. With the investment Birmingham and Wrexham have been getting, can you see both clubs getting promoted to the Premier League, and how would they do in the Premier League? That's a hard one because we've had plenty of clubs that have had money in the Championship, and I suppose Birmingham feel a little bit like Wolves did under Faux Sun in whenever it was, 17, 18, Wolves went up. I think I'm right in saying that. God, it's just got a bolt from the brain that Diogo Jota, who so sadly died last week, was obviously playing in that very team. It's tragic, isn't it? Tragic. But Birmingham feel a bit like that Wolves team, but that Wolves team, PSR wasn't quite as advanced then, and Wolves just bloody breached through it, didn't they? I think they lost 50 million quid in that season, but they were up, out of jurisdiction. In comes the Premier League money, 3-year rolling loss limit, bish bash bosh, out of sight, out of mind. Whereas Birmingham, obviously, there's far more scrutiny now on spending, and figures being put out and benchmarking for what you're going to spend during the season. That will all be being submitted to the EFL. And Birmingham say, right, we're projecting to lose 50 million this year, like Wolves did. I think the EFL might have something to say about that. In terms of Wrexham, it does feel like Birmingham have got more to play with. It feels like they've got more to play with than everybody, but than Wrexham. And I think the thing is that Wrexham was such a big fish. Wrexham were what Birmingham were in League One, in the National League, and I suppose in League Two. And I've got to admit, Wrexham were amazing in League One, weren't they? That's a hell of a promotion to go right through. That shows you about momentum in football. So I think they'll have it harder. I think both sides will have it hard. You can't ignore the possibility of, just with what Birmingham are doing, that they could just keep going and go through either this year or next year. But sometimes teams get stuck. Stoke, they've got more money than God as well with Bet365, and they've just got themselves into a rut. And well, hands up in the comments, who thinks Stoke will finish above Birmingham next season? Probably nobody, but that's where we are with both sort of clubs. So yeah, that would be my take.